everybody, it's Jackie of Watercolor Gypsy Art and Wellness. If you watch the manta ray tutorial, you know I'm doing both of these at the same time. And if you haven't seen that, you should go check it out if you're interested in using a watercolor underpainting in your pastel paintings. But I'm waiting for that to dry. So in the meantime, we're gonna have fun with this photo. This photo I found on Unsplash, and it's from Massimiliano Moronicito. Yeah, I butchered that, but I'm gonna leave the link in the description. And you can find me on Unsplash if you want to see the photos that I have. I have all different categories, and I made them all public. I'm Jack, J-A-C, Watercolor Gypsy. And you can find all of my reference photos that I'm going to be using for YouTube on there. They're royalty free. It's a great site. Fabulous photographers. So I found this, and I pumped it up a little bit by making it vivid. If you go into your photos, if you have a Mac or an iPhone and you do the vivid filter, it just makes everything brighter, because I really wanted this bright pink in here. And it also made some of the yellows in the well, I don't know what this is, the hill, pop out more. So you get to see that like yellow ochre color more. And I really liked the effect that it gave this picture. So I did that. Now this picture was originally in a ratio of 2:3. So if you're not familiar with aspect ratios of canvas sizes, okay. So if you've ever printed out a reference photo or looked at one online and tried to copy it on a piece of paper and in the perspective and it didn't fit, it just didn't look right, the proportions were off, it's probably because you didn't resize it for the size of paper or canvas that you were using. Now I found this chart from Vienna Szabo Fine Art. You can just type in aspect ratios of common canvas sizes. I will also put this link in the description. And it gives you all the ratios: 3:4, 5:7, 4:5, 6:5, 11:14, 1:1, which is a square, 1:2, 7:9, and 2:3. Now, and then it gives you all of the options of canvases that you can, the proportions will work out on. Now, this was originally 2:3. I didn't want to cut a piece of paper to 2 inches to 3 inches or 6 inches to 9 inches, and I didn't want to do a 12 by 18 pastel painting on the table. Now I prefer to work with pastels like on an easel, but because of filming, I didn't feel, I have this set up already. I wasn't going to move it, so we're gonna do it flat. So I moved this photo, I cropped it and changed it to 3:4, which kind of got rid of the top and the bottom a little bit, not so much the sides, but I had an option to have more sky or have more land. I chose to have more land because this dark strip is going to lead you into the painting, and what the highlight of the sky for me is this pink to purple to orange transition here. So that's what I liked about the photo, and also it brought the land up into a third, closer to the third. So if you break your canvas into thirds, that's where you want your point of interest to be, is on one of the thirds, not in the middle. If you put things in the middle, it will kind of look funky and flat, and it's not interesting. So I opted to bring the land up a little bit. I couldn't bring it up so much that it actually hit the real third mark. It's only a little bit above half, but it's better than having it right in the middle. So this is 3:4, which works on a 9:12. So I have conveniently a sheet of UArt 400 sanded pastel paper. So I just pulled it out with the piece of glassine because we're going to use that piece of glassine at the end. I'm going to put this to the side for just a moment. And what I like to do, if I'm going to work flat, I'm going to take a piece of newsprint. I think this is 12 by 18. And I'm just going to place it. So I have water left over from the other painting. I'm just going to place it under me so all the pastel dust that I knock off, I can conveniently put in one of my jars, and we can make a new pastel out of all that dust instead of wasting it. So what I do, so that's easy for me to do when I tap my paper off, is I just fold this side a little bit so there's a crease. And I fold the corner so it's easier for me to pick up and I don't have to struggle. Now we have our landscape painting. I'm going to try to do picture in picture. If it's not there, it's because I couldn't figure it out. So bear with me. I'm going to put this canvas ratios to the side. We have our sanded paper. I'm going to take the glassine off. I pull them out very, very carefully with the glassine on them because I like to reuse the glassine. Now, supplies. So I have some pan pastels. I'm not sure if I released the tutorial yet on, not tutorial, the unboxing of my pan pastels yet. It'll probably be released by the time you see this video. And half of this was for the other painting I was doing, the manta ray. And this half, well, including the white, is going to be for the landscape. So I'm going to do an underpainting in a few layers because this is such a heavily sanded paper. I pre-picked my pastels out, and I have a mix of Mungyo extra fine soft pastels that I won from Jerry's Artorama that I'm not a really big fan of. I'm trying to get rid of them, so I'm just trying to use them for underpaintings. I have 2 Rembrandts. I have a few Prismacolor new pastels in here. Like, not a lot. I have like little pieces. I have about 6 Jackson's brand handmade pastels. I have 3 Blick square pastels and 2 Blick artist half stick pastels. And I have 3 Pitt pastel, Faber-Castell pencils. So I have a lot of stuff going on. I use what I got, and I also am going to use in the sky this Diane Townsend, I think. Is this the right one? This is 507D. It's an exotic color. It's dark purple iridescent. Iridescent dark purple, something like that. Okay, so let's get started with our drawing. Oh, before I do my drawing, I also forgot to mention I have my entire set that I got for my birthday of Blue Earth pastels here on a table next to me. Okay, and since this is kind of warped, I'm going to use my handy dandy sketch, the end of the sketch paperboard, and I'm going to tape this down before we do our drawing. This is going to be an interesting way to tape this down, but you guys will get the idea. Oh, I also have a piece of vine charcoal. I have my soft tools for the pan pastels, and I have some pipe foam insulation for blending. When you blend on sanded paper, if you do it with your fingers are going to get chewed up. If you do it with the soft tools from your pan pastels, you're going to ruin them. Okay, so what I did here was I put artist tape on the back of the sanded paper with a good amount of slack. I put the cardboard onto the back of the paper, wrapped the tape around the cardboard so the sticky side was still facing me, and then took another piece of tape, sticky side to sticky side, and taped it onto the cardboard so I didn't have to tape around the paper and lose any of my working surface. I hope with the visual and the voiceover this makes sense. I just didn't want to waste extra time in the video because it took me way too long. Now, let's actually get to our drawing. So halfway is about here. So I'm going to, let me bring it up a little bit. And I'm not going to be very particular with my marks. I'm just getting something down. Now I'm looking at the negative shapes. So here we have the horizon line below this marsh, and it's about, let's choose our purple, that's what I brought it for, is about here. It looks a little blue in this photo, but it's actually a very light lavender because it's reflecting the sky. And then there is this triangle. So that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it as shapes that I see. And if it's not exact, I don't freak out. Like, it's okay. We have liberties as a painter. So then also here, we have this curve, we have another kind of triangle-like shape. My brain tends to see triangle-like shapes, so I'm just be a little lower, I think, actually. Yeah, that's good. That has to be covered up because there's going to be white there. Now I'm going to put where the hill is going to the back, so it's a pretty straight line. Keep wanting to angle it down, but it's really not angled down that much. And this is, and check your pencil for accurate marks. This comes here. And then there is some kind of bump here. And then we have our nice mix of dark areas that are going to lead us into the painting. So this is, as you can see, this is just like a general random sketch where I'm seeing shapes of light and shadow and I'm trying to draw them in. Okay, now for the sky, I like to just know where my transitions are. So the purple like starts here, the pink purple. And it goes all the way down. I should have got a lighter color. I'm just going to use the charcoal for this one, because there's a peach color that comes down into this, and then it kind of leads itself down very slightly into here, and then this is all like that peachy color, and then there's an orange there. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for the drawing. I'll put that to the side because I have it pulled up on my computer. Okay, so I have my pastels. Now, what I decided to do for this one, because I want to make this landscape a little bit more interesting, is I decided I'm going to do a complementary underpainting. So you might see why I don't like these pastels as I'm taking this paper off. Usually when I break them, well, you'll see when I break it, because I break my pastels. This is too big to work with. Sometimes they crumble by just taking the paper off. This one didn't, but when I break it, I'm going to put it over. It tends to crumble a lot. This one actually broke pretty well, so I'm very surprised that it did. So where there's dark greens, like in this marsh, I'm going to just start putting in, where are my Prismacolors? I have my Prismacolors right here. I'm going to start putting in the dark shapes I see with the red. And I'm using the side of my pastel stick. I'm kind of letting my hand guide the painting. So there's a dark area here. And that's kind of it for this color. And there's a dark area there. Got there, we got across here. Just glitter it a little in here. It's going to get blended in. Okay, Now for the sky, because it's a purplish blue color, I'm gonna do this fluorescent red. Of course, they don't behave for me when I'm off camera. They get everywhere and make a mess. But when I'm on camera, oh, and I'm going to use this cadmium orange-ish color too. And I'm just going to start putting that in where the blue's going to go. And purple. I'm going to leave this area a little lighter. Maybe I'll put some... that's light yellow ochre. Maybe I'll put some white in there. I actually want to use my Prismacolor white. I don't want to use the Jackson's yet because it's going to fill the tooth of the paper. Put some white in there. And I'm actually going to throw some white in here too, just so this stays light. I'm going to just put the orange. This is actually the color it is. So here I'm putting in the orange. I'm going to add the lightest color now that I see. And I'm going to make it very extreme. Now I'm going to start to add, oh no, I lied. I'm going to go in where there's that medium bright green. I'm going to go in with this color. And then there's a dark stripe here. I didn't feel like taking the paper off of this one. That's why you see me just using it. Alright, and that's as much as complementary as I'm really going to get here. Now I'm going to start going in for more local color. And I'm going to open my pan pastels up. I'm going to break up my piping insulation before I go into my pan pastels. And I'm going to use different parts of the piping insulation for different areas of the sky. Trying to spread the dust in a place where I can collect it. Let me get rid of that line that I made. So this is going to peek through a little bit, this wine red color, which is like a really cool dark red, and this lighter red. They're going to peek through. And this is why I don't want it working flat. And you see the pipe insulation's getting eaten up. This is why we use pipe insulation. And for the white, I'm going to actually use a different piece. And I'm going to blend that white in there. And I want that excess dust to come off because I don't want to fill the tooth of my paper yet. I am not even close to done. This is just the first layer. Now, pan pastels I don't really use, so this will be an experiment for both of us. Now I'm going to take this dust before we continue. Take the paper off of it. Where's my crease that I made? See, when I work on an easel, I don't have to do this. I just have some foil. You see that color? That like purplish gray? That's going to be a fun pastel to make. Okay, I see all this dust here, and I have a special brush I use to brush it off clean. All right, so that's part of my underpainting. Now let's go in with some pan pastels. Let's see what these babies do. So I'm going to go in with this chromium green. I think that's what it's called. I tend to mispronounce things. Yeah, chrome oxide green. And as you see, if you didn't watch the other video, I'm going to tell you it in this one in case you don't watch it. If you ever break a pan pastel, because right after my unboxing video I dropped 3 of them and they shattered, you put some like rubbing alcohol from the store, 91% isopropyl alcohol, into the pan and you push it down, and that's how you fix it, and you wait for it to dry, and it's good to go. So I'm going to start putting in some greens over these reds, and they're going to mix together and they're going to mute. This is interesting. I've never really used pan pastels for painting. As I drop it. So this is an interesting experience. I think the other green I have is a permanent green. I had the painter set, and the reason why I opted for the painter set is because it had a good mix of colors that you can mix. So when it comes with the white and the black, so you can make your tints and your shades right from that painting set. The portrait set, I really didn't like. I opted for some stuff from a set from Jackson's for that. Because they had a great little set that was like for light skin tones, and if you bought the woodland brown set with it, you had enough colors to make light and dark skin tones. So I'm just dabbing. Let's try dabbing on the paper at my pan. This is going to be a long painting, guys, I can tell you that right now. Sometimes after I film, I debate if I should speed it up or if I should leave it real time. I'm also in the process of filming for my website for online courses, which you all who are my subscribers will be the first to know, and if you sign up to my newsletter, you tell me, hey, like, I'm one of your YouTube subscribers, and the only way you would know that is if you watched my video. So I'll give you a little coupon for my first release of classes if you're interested in what I have to offer. The offerings in the beginning are a little different than what I plan to offer later. So gotta start slow, right? Build up. That's why I started this YouTube in the interim, because I wanted to share art with everyone. Art saved my life. I had a lot of anxiety. I still do. And once I started a creative practice, I really started to feel better. Like crazy. It was so quick that like I got into art, and then at first I got really frustrated like we do, and I was like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Okay, I'm going to switch from the chrome oxide green where I put in some of the areas where I saw that local color, like here, put it up here. I left it out here and in the really dark darks because I'm going to go in with the dark darks now. So I just dabbed it in there, and how I did that was I dabbed on my pan. See if I can move things over so you can. I just dabbed on my pan, dot, 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 and I just went in. And I'm doing it very lightly because it's sandpaper. I don't want to ruin my soft, even though I have 1,000 of them. If you saw my unboxing video, I have 1,000 soft tools, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to ruin it. But I don't want to ruin it, so. Alright, and I can see where it's getting a little eaten up already. Alright, so let me reestablish my darks. This is another chromium oxide green. Wow, I should film my pastel paintings more. These things behave. Let's see how. And it broke. Wow. Wow. Mungyo pastels. Maybe I will change my opinion of you. So again, I'm using my strokes in a unpredictable painterly manner, I would say. And in here I'm just gonna kind of create dots. I'm using the whole side of the pastel, that's why it's broken. Here it's really dark here. I know my friend right now, if she was here, she would be losing it over the sound of the pastels on the sanded paper. She'd be like, what? I can't deal with that. You know, like how there's some people who just, they can't listen, they can't hear the sound of people chewing. It's like the scratchiness. There's a hill here that I want to get in. And then there's assorted. I got that. See, look how much the sanded paper is a brand new pastel. See how much the sanded paper ruined it. That's why we're going to go in with the blue earth later. Because if I take a blue earth pastel out right now, look at how small they are. They're very highly pigmented, but the only bad or con about these, and we'll see how they hold up, is that they're like their normal stick is about a half stick size of other brands. So they're very soft though, and I loved the way they were laid out. I really did. Like a 19th century oil painting palette where the values are there. Because if you know your values, if I put this in black and white, I could have done anything I wanted with the color. Like, you'd never think, like, oh, like, well, why is she doing red for, sorry, my voice is cracking. Why is she doing red for green? Actually, I want blue. I want blue in here, and I don't think I have a blue in here. I think I have a blue in my other place. Let's put some hard pastel. Let's put some blue in here. I want blue in my landscape. Ooh, this is a good color for the sky. I wanted a warmer blue for the sky, but I impulsively did that. Intuitively, I should say. So now I'm just going around where there's really, really dark areas, and I'm adding blue because, well, I wanted to. And there's a lot of areas of value here. This is a great landscape for value study because it's dark here and it's littered with vibrant colors that are close to the same value. And then you have this pretty much same value hill. I'm sorry, different assorted value hill where the underlayer is the dirt is the same. The dirt of the painting is something Karen Margulis says. you go check her out, Karen Margulis Art. She has some, let's just define this here a little bit more. I want that little islands to be there. She calls this underpainting part the dirt. Okay. I don't know what color this is. This is from the Blick set. And I'm just kind of stippling it in. I'm not making like big broad strokes. Here I'm going to make a big broad stroke because it's there. This color really isn't in too many places. It's like an army green. I don't know what it's called, but like here and here, right here, it's shown. It's next to the dark here. What do I want to do next? Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to stop for a moment. I had to order dinner for the family. So all I did is I added that blue. I added some of that local color, that green. Now I'm taking the, I think it was a phthalo blue or Prussian blue new pastel, and I'm blending that into the sky with my pipe foam installation. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap and take these away for just a moment. I'm going to try to get this powder onto the paper. So if you work with a French easel, if you look up French easels, they're easels and they have a drawer underneath. And you can put your pastels in the drawer that you're using right underneath your easel, and you can do it tabletop or like standing. I'm standing right now. I prefer to work standing. It gives me a better perspective. I'm just picking this up and looking at it. If you do work flat, make sure you pick up your piece, you lean it against something and you back away for a moment to make sure that you're seeing things correctly. Now, automatically I can see that this triangle is much smaller in the photo, but I think I like it there because I really like that lavender color against all of these greens. So I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna blend just this this blue in just a little bit. Just the blue. Leave everything else. With sanded paper, you can look at my hand. You can bang it like that, and most of the pigment will stay. I have a wet rag, one of these white rags that I buy from Target in packs of like 100. Oh my god! If you could see my face right now, I have a mirror in front of me in my studio, which you'll see when I do my studio tour. My face is covered in pastels. Alright, so let's get kicking on the sky a little bit. I said I was going to do picture in picture, but since the photo is right here, I'm just going to leave it and give you the link. Let me use this blue, which I think is, it's from the Mungyo set, and it's an ultramarine type blue. It's a warm blue. And it's darker in the corner. So where is this? Which is a little bit of a darker Prussian. So I'm gonna move that in. Now, the sky, I like to work impressionistically, but I also like to overblend everything. So that's the fight that I personally have with myself in my art style, is leave it or don't leave it. But the sky is so smooth that again, I'm feeling called to blend it now. I'm gonna tap that off because I just think it's gonna look so nice if it's blended and smooth. And then we have these nice marks made all over the landscape, which it's naturally there, these marks. So you can see the dark spots in the light and the brighter greens against the muted greens against the dark greens. Like, this is why I loved this photo. It had everything in it that I loved. I love it when the sky has pinks and purples at sunrise or sunset. I love that. And I thought this piece of land was so interesting, and it really drew me into the photo. And it wasn't like a very complicated photo. Visually, it's not complicated, but looking at all the colors, I'm like, whew. So here in the distance, I'm noticing some blue there. So I'm actually going to take a turquoise from my pan pastels. I'm actually take it on the top, and I'm going to jot that in. Because as things recede, they get cooler. So it makes sense that there would be a little blue. Now it's a little darker in the photo. They also get lighter and more neutral, more muted. So that's just the start of that suggestion of that blue. I'm just tapping it in. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take, I wish I had a lighter pink, this new pastel, and I'm just going to redefine my shape. Sorry if my hand's in the way. Redefine my abstract shape of my mountain here. Then I'm going to move to a bit of a more pinky neutral to just so I know where I'm going. See here, that to me is very dark green, is like a blue. So I'm gonna go back to that blue pastel, which is already there, and I'm gonna it's straight in the photo. I'm just gonna bring it here. And I'm going to try to remember that I made this triangle a little bit bigger than it actually was. And I'm going to try to maintain that. Oh, I'm getting my colors mixed up now. Which painting? I have two things going on. I have the Mannery painting pastels in here, and I have the landscape painting pastels in the bigger one because it required a little bit more colors. And I won't use all the pastels that I put in here, but I picked out my colors, and sometimes you gotta go back and get another color. See, this is a little too orangey for me, but it's good to start the suggestion of the lighter colors. So there's a bright green here, this yellow green, and I have that in a pan pastel, but you know what I'm going to do? If your pan pastel thing gets a little dirty, you just flip it over if you feel like it's too dirty and you don't feel like cleaning it. Sorry if this is an extra long tutorial, guys. Like I said, I was painting for myself today, and I just decided to record it. So again, I'm just dotting in there. Switch this around so you can maybe see what I'm doing better. I don't have two cameras yet, so I haven't started a Patreon or my paid courses to get that equipment. And I'm just plotting it. And what I'm not liking about this right now is that it's blending a little too much for my taste. Like, I want that to pop. So I'm trying to get a lot out of my pan. And I've never done a full painting with pan pastels yet. Because I haven't gotten around to it. They're pretty new, and I picked up quite a bit of pastel sets along with the ones that I had to do that big pastel series that's coming your way in after this video. It's going to be really soon, actually. Once I get that last shipment from Dakota Pastels where they made me a handmade color chart. You can buy handmade color charts because I bought the full box set of 336 colors of the Blue Earth pastels. Even though, like with pastels, you kind of get what you see here, I wanted a chart. So when I run out of one, and I'm going to keep them in order, I'm not going to put them back, I'm going to try to put them back where they go. Sorry, it's a little hard to talk and paint at the same time. Man, I really underestimated that. You YouTubers that do this all the time, man, you guys are talented. So I'm going to take this green. I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh, I ordered a handmade color chart. Dakota Pastels, your pastel specialist, they offer handmade color charts. And the next two sets that I'm waiting to buy are the Unison 120 assorted half stick set and the Terry Ludwig Karen Margulis. I mentioned her earlier. She has a YouTube channel. She's fantastic. Karen Margulis Floral and Landscape Set, which I'm like super excited about. I'm sad that I don't have my soft pastel of Jackson's in green, because I feel like this would just go perfectly here. And I need that army green. So I'm just alternating my greens, not covering up completely. This is a bluey color. So again, I'm going to go in maybe with not that deep of a blue. This is a purple. It's like a phthalo, which I didn't think to take out. So let me see what I have in my set here. That'll work, actually. Oh wow. So this is my first time using my blue pastels. Blue Earth pastels. I keep saying blue pastels. And they are buttery, and I'm getting a big mark, and it's not taking a lot off. Where was I? I was here. It's not taking a lot off the pastel. So now that I put that there, I have to put it in other parts of my painting. So I'm just kind of going to dot it in over there. The best part about the Blue Earth pastels is that they're arranged, not assorted, in value and intensity of colors. So if you're a new pastel artist or just a new painter in general, I think the set was like $1,050, which, thanks, Dad. He got it for my 28th birthday. but compared to, like, you know, other pastel brands like Terry Ludwig, like their full set is $1,400. I think Unison set is around the same. So for a full set of pastels, it's not in the too high of a price range. I'm gonna bring some yellows in now. Where are my yellows? Oh, here's my orange for the sky, which I kind of put in already here. I paint like all over the place if you have not already noticed. So there's like a really bright green, and then I'm going to start bringing in the yellows. I wonder if this is too bright. Yeah, that's a little too bright. So what I can do is I can go to the next one, which is less intense. So just for demonstration, I have to hold this with my hand. Intensity goes down in levels of 4, value goes up and down in levels of 7. So if this was too intense, maybe I can go a little bit darker, or I can go over one into the different intensities. So let me take my photo real quick and look at this. So I think I was in the right intensity, I just picked the wrong color. Gotta put my dark back in there. So now that my paper is getting a little full, it's kind of nice. So I'm going to put this nice intense color. This is darker over here. And then there's like that, oh, I put that phthalo in there. Look at me. Oh man, I just broke some trying to get it out. They're very delicate, these pastels. Yes, that's what I wanted. See, this pastel is breaking on me a lot. I'm going to be very gentle with them. I thought the sandpaper was going to eat up my pastel. So I need this dark to bring the eye into the painting. I think this is more of a warm neutral. So I'm going to go into my warm neutrals. I'm actually going to go into my yellows. Because when you mix yellow with black, you get, see, it's kind of breaking on me. Oh well, it's going to be made into a new pastel anyway. You kind of get, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yellow and black, you get a green. When you mix a cool yellow, like a lemon yellow with a black, you get a green. So again, I'm making marks. I'm using the corner, actually, of the pastel. And I'm just making those, again, those dark marks. And in here, I see a little bit of purple coming through. So in the end, that's what I'll do. I'll make the purple come through. Now I'm just tapping this down. That's how soft this pastel is that I'm tapping it down. Gently, even though it sounds like I'm tapping a lot, I'm not really. We got the green here. Now I'm using the side of my pastel. And as I do that, I'm going over the line in that wonky way. I want that green. I don't think I have it. This is too light. Actually, this is this green. But I have it in a softer pastel, so I'm gonna, is this green? So this is the same green that I was just using. There's so little variation in some areas that it's kind of hard to tell. I'm like, oh, but I want another green there. And it's the same green I was using already, just from a different brand. Wait, then I gotta start working on which green is this? That's that green. I want a blue green. They have the numbers on the side so I can put them back in the right place. So this was a lemon. Oh, I can't read it anymore. Yeah, I can't read it anymore. I do know where it goes though. So, note about the Blue Earth pastels, they break really easily. So, that's something to keep in mind. So that you have to be very, 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 very gentle with them. That's not that light. I'm going to tone that down, but I wanted to get a light base there. There's dark here. That's not dark enough. Going back to the color I just had. Yeah. That is dark enough. I missed this line of darkness right in between here. So it's the values that make things come forward and move away. I think we're going to step away from the landscape just for a second. Not the landscape, the land just for a moment and focus on the sky, because I think my eyes need a break from all these greens. Again, before we do that, we're going to take our pastel dust, clean my hands. When I paint for enjoyment, I like to paint slowly. So if this video ends up being like 2 hours long, it's because I'm just giving you like an inside my studio tutorial of something I was going to do anyway. I'm not specifically doing this painting for YouTube. I'm doing this painting because I was inspired by it and I really wanted to do it. Alright, so I'm going to take my wet rag and try to clean my hands to the best of my abilities. When all else fails, we use baby wipes. And then before I start blending pastels with my fingers, I am going to make sure they're dry. And if I use a paint rag to dry my hands, I'm going to make sure that the paint rag isn't super dirty. So my hands are a little cleaner. Alright, so now let's tackle a little bit of the sky, because I feel like if I get the sky blocked in more, I'll know what to do with this a little bit. And I'm seeing things like I want to blend here a little. Trying to keep it mostly free mark makings, but I also have this urge to blend some areas in. I want to keep that pink peeking through there and some of the red peeking through. There is a line here. There's a line here, and there's a line here. So before we move on to the sky, I promise we're going to move on to the sky. I'm going to mix permanent green and this yellow green. I'm pretty sure this is yellow green. Bright yellow green and chrome oxide green shade together. And I'm going to define this area. Actually, you know what? It's yellow ochre is what it is. Let's see if I have it in my blue pastels. And I feel like the color around it is a little too pink. So the Y40 and the Y4A, the Y4C and the Y4A, actually the Y4C is good for this. I just wanted to find that line and make sure that that's known that that's a separate area. Then, like, this is a separate area. I'm going to blend that a little. I have so much pastel on the paper that if I just touch it, it blends. Alright, so I'm going to put these right back. Some colors I've noticed are way more fragile than others. Like some of the greens here in the... What number is this? The E family. They are quite fragile. So I would not put these in a box or in one of these plastic things. And now I'm covered in green again. Isn't this fun, painting with Jackie? Never know what we're doing. Okay. I'm going to block in some of that violet. And the first thing I'm going to do before I block it in is put this color. I'm going to do the same thing up here because this color is actually at the top. And then I'm going to blot. So we have our sky kind of in. This is going to look so odd if I do this sky like all smooth and nice and then I do the landscape like all impressionist. It's going to be a very interesting painting at the end. I'm going to actually come in with this light blue. This is the color of, maybe mixed with a little this pink. Is the color of, and I'm using a variety of marks. I'm moving the side. This is a round pastel, but I'm moving to the top to get some line work. I'm scribbling. I'm dotting. I'm not being consistent with the way I applied the pastel. So, and I think that just gives the viewer a little bit more interest. I do want this to be more violet. Oh, my computer turned off. I wasn't even looking at it. It looks so much better on a good computer. Alright, I went into my Blue Earth Pastels and I grabbed a VC5C. I've only seen the pastels with one letter, one number. No, one letter, one number. I haven't seen one with 4 yet. I usually see them like this. R7A. R being the color, 7 being the value, A being the intensity. So A through D. I've never seen VC5C. I have no idea what that means. But I'm really happy with this water. Let me see if I can use the end of my, yes, that's what I wanted. I want the land to come off the paper. Half of this tutorial is probably taking so long because I keep putting my Blue Earth pastels back in the box. Alright, so let's move on to the sky. Finally, like I said, probably 8 times. Add some white here, because there is a little bit of lightness in between these colors. I don't know if my head's in the way, sorry if it was. Alright, so this is here. So I'm going to bring in this nice fluorescent color, which is going to get covered up. I start bold and then I tone down. So I don't want to go in bold yet because there's not much. This is just the sanded paper still. So there's not much on it. So I'm going to go in with this red. Just to get something down on the paper. And then, because this is a violet, I'm going to move in with this. There, I'm going to put this blue. And then, now I'm going to kind of get a little intense. I'm going to put this light pink first, which isn't really light pink. Because that's what's on the edge, is this really intense pink. So I want to keep this intense pink vivid. I'm actually going to take my foam blender and I'm going to currently brush all the pastel dots off, but I'm going to blend it in. So I'm taking this dust and I'm using it to fill in gaps before I tap off my paper. Okay, so we got some stuff in the sky down. Okay. I actually want, I do have a lighter pink. See, I didn't even take the papers off of these yet, and I don't want to fully because I want to remember what color they are. And I'm going to break it, and look, they break so cleanly. There wasn't one dot that came off. Well, now there's dots coming off, but I'm using it a little. And now I'm going to go in after this with an orange. But I'm going to get this pink mess here. And then I'm going to go in with that nice, like, cool, hot pink color, which is here. I'm pretty sure that's a little too red. Is it this? It's this color, this pink purple. It's actually a perfect way to describe it. And I'm going to put some pink where there's going to be white. So maybe the sky won't be fully blended after all. Maybe I'll resist my urge to blend everything out. And I will, my pastel's turning different colors. I will leave it the painterly style that I really wanted for this painting to begin with. Now I'm using a mix of pastels and layers. I'm not really... No. I need a different color. I'm not really paying attention to... Yeah, that's the color. Like, I'll use a hard pastel over a soft pastel if it's the correct color that I'm looking for. I will use it over it. See, now this I want a little bit pinker. So I wonder if there is a pinker one. There is the violet we used in the water, I believe, which would be kind of perfect here. And there is violet in the sky. So what I'm going to do, because it's so light, in the sky, the pink, it's very light. And this pastel is doing a fabulous job on its own, blending into that blue. Wow, I didn't even take that chunk off. Now we clean. And that was Blue Earth Pastel V3A. And V4A. I'm going to blend a little bit. You see how that underpainting colors, they're there, but they're not showing through too much. But they're there, and they do add a dimension. So don't be afraid to add a color that you're unsure about, that you're like, I don't really know if that belongs there. Well, try it. Like, I am not a primary pastel painter. This is not what I do all day, every day. Like, I paint in mixed media, and I'll use my soft pastels usually for the final layer to give an impressionistic look, or to make some marks in either muted or vibrant colors, depending on what style I'm kind of going for. Is this the purple pink that we said it was? Still feel like it's a little darker. No, it's this one. See what I mean? It just broke everywhere. That's what I usually encounter from the, yep, look, pieces. So I'm actually going to use these pieces. So I'm glad that one of them did what I was talking about and shattered into pieces, because that's something that I don't like about a pastel. If my pastels, when I break them, they don't break clean, to me it means there's a lot of binders and there's a lot of chalk in pastels. Like, I know they're called chalk pastels. I don't think of them as chalk pastels because they're pigment sticks. They should be mostly pigment, and that's why all these handmade companies like Unison, Blue Earth, Terry Ludwig, that's why Richardson now makes handmade pastels. Jackson's Art pastels are pretty good. That's why their pastels are so good and so popular and so expensive. I don't know if I mentioned before, but Terry Ludwig has a set Karen Margulis curated for them. Now here I'm going to blend a little. And it's called the Floral Landscape Set, and it's so new, it's only exclusive to them. TerryLudwig.com, I mean. And I really just want that set. Even though I have so many pastels, you're probably like, well, this girl has so many pastels. Why does she need this set? Because I love Karen Margulis' style of painting. And I know I have my own style of painting, and that's okay. And you're going to have your own style of painting. Anyone who does this tutorial, the painting's going to come out differently. And that's okay. Embrace your intuition. You noticed how before when I was doing the land, I was like, well, my intuition's telling me to do this. And that's what I did. I didn't question it. I didn't worry like, oh my God, I'm gonna ruin the paper. And that does come with time, but the quicker you allow yourself that freedom, that creative freedom to just create. Just create. I want a light blue. You get the results you want quicker. You become your own, I don't know, curator. Like, you know what you're looking for. You know how to make it. I'm going to pull out this P76. Oh, these Blue Earth pastels go on like butter. And, it works. Just have more faith in yourself. Every single person was born to be an artist. I'm sure that's a quote that someone else said before me. But it's true. Everyone here was born to create. We're human beings. We make things. We fix things. Ooh, that's a nice color, right? That is R6B. So red, value 6, intensity B. So it's a little less intense. Let's see if I can. Oh, I didn't bring the picture back, guys. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to do that. So to avoid getting the powder in the landscape, I'm trying to tap, sorry, I hear noise in the background in my house. I try to tap going sideways so it doesn't all just go down into the green. Even if it did go down into the green, that would be okay. I need a peachy color. Is this it? Cinnamon. Maybe this is my peachy color. Yeah, it's kind of like my peachy color. See, it's got to mix together to make my peachy color. Yep, that's it. So I'm just going to keep making marks. I'm going to keep tapping. The sanded paper takes a lot of layers. I like to work in a lot of layers, as you see. And I work from light to dark, as most of us. Some people work... I work from dark to light. Excuse me. I'm getting a little tired. Maybe it's time for me to take a break and walk away from the painting. I'm having so much fun that half the time I don't know how to walk away from my paintings, and it's a bad habit of mine that I should really, really try to break. So guys, I didn't do this painting before this filming it. I'm just filming it, and regardless of how it comes out, I'm gonna release this video and you'll see it, and I want you to learn from it, if anything. If you don't get anything out of this tutorial, I'm really sorry. I tried for you, but if I fail at this painting and I completely hate it, maybe someone else will love it, who knows. I want you to take risks, and I want you to learn something. Even if I end up making a big mistake, I don't think pastel paintings could ever be ruined. I think they're always fixable. Okay, so I need to make more of this light pink go down like this, and then this pink go down like this. And then I need a little bit of like an orangey pink, but I can't find what I'm looking for. I'm not familiar enough with my new set of pastels that I can find the orangey pink I want. Maybe it's this one. Oh, I want it to be pinker than that. So I'm going to see if I go over it and mix it, if it's going to... Yeah, that's kind of turning into the color I'm looking for. So when you're not sure and you can't find a color, just try mixes like I just did and see what happens. I pushed too hard a little there. So there is a bit of purple. I think it's this. Yep, it's this one. Just peeking through, just a little something peeking through here of the sky, of the pink naturally in nature mixing with the blue. And I'm surprised my pastels are not really getting eaten up by the sanded paper, probably because I did my underpainting in other pastels. So if you have a pastel that you think is precious, like the Blue Earths are to me right now, build up layers if you're going to use the sanded paper. I want to blend this out just a little bit. And then I'm gonna take a break. For you it'll be 2 seconds, but my eyes are getting a little funky on me. And when you work for too long, your eyes tend to... They tend to stop seeing things correctly, and sometimes you need to take a bit of a break before they do. I forget what color I used up there. Use the color in the sky to make it, was it this pink? Where's the other half of this pink? Oh, here it is. I don't know, that wasn't it either. Whatever. I used a pinky purple in the sky to get those marks. That blended oh so well with them, making it look very natural. But I feel like this violet is getting really sucked up by the blue. I want it to show just a little bit more intense. I want you to see, there it is. I want you to see that it's purple here. It's purple mixing with the blue. I might call this paint and chat because I feel like I talked more about other things than I did what I was doing in the painting. Now here I'm very lightly using this pastel to get in there. And I am blending this part. I am leaving this blended because there's no other way for me to get that softness. Unless I decide to do it impressionistically and leave those just as transparent as possible and as light as the color as possible, but I don't see that being like this. which I'm actually really liking. So, my orange, I'm seeing a little bit of, actually no, let's bring the pink back in here because there's a row of pink in here in between these orange clouds. Again, like I really want to find that pinkish orange and I just can't seem to find that exact color that I want, but the value is right, so it's kind of like who cares about the color if the value is correct. But at the same time, like what attracted me to this photo is the colors. So my camera is about to die. I keep saying I'm going to take a break and come back and I keep working. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit on what's going on here. So you can see the sky and the land with the pink peeking through. So I'm going to have to charge my camera. So that is a good indication for me to stop. I promise I will try as hard as I can to not work on this while the camera is charging. So I hope you are enjoying this so far. If you're following along, sorry for my chaotic choices last minute. I hope it's not too confusing. If you do decide to follow along, I highly recommend like watching it first in your free time when you're just bored and you want to watch something, and then giving it a go. Alright, so I will be back. Okay, well I'm back and it's the next day. I planned on finishing this last night, but after dinner I just got too tired, and since I was working on 2 paintings at once, I finished the manta ray tutorial that is the video before this that came up. Okay, so after taking some time away from this landscape and coming back to it, I realized that there's really not much more I wish to do to it. I'm very happy with how it's looking. I realized that I did make the sky, this pink orange bit, a little more dramatic in my painting than it is in the reference photo. And there's just a few value things I want to clean up. I want to make this area a little less muddy. I want to add some lightness. I want to define this ridge a little with some yellow. And I want to work on this top of the land. I'm going to brighten this corner up. We're going to go back over the sky with a little bit of blue to mute that purple that's in there, because in person it's very there. And I think that's the only thing we're gonna do. Oh, I was gonna drag this pink out a little more than it already is, because I'm in love with that pink. So I have all of my pastels separated, and I have my Blue Earth pastel full set out next to me. And since I have that out next to me, I think, because I don't really want to use hard pastels at this point, there's a lot of pastel on this. I'm going to take out my pink. I'm going to take out my bright orange, my neutral peachy orange. I don't want to use hard pastels, so I'm going to see if I can find one in the same shade as this new pastel. So I'm going to use more of my Dakota Blue Earth pastels. Just to give some extra depth. I want this to be more defined and less what am I trying to say? Less smooth. Sorry guys, I just finished that manta ray tutorial like in editing it like 5 minutes ago. So I'm a little dead today. I literally spent all day recording and publishing videos. I want there to be a little bit more yellow here, but not everywhere. I have this cinnamon color that I haven't used yet, and I don't know if I want to use it. I am going to use, however, this light yellow ochre, just a little bit, next to where those darks are, just because they looked just a little out of place here. I wanted to add a little more contrast there. I'm like being conservative and I don't want to take the wrapper off, but it's got to come off. I got to break the pastel. These break so nicely. So I'm going to lay this down, and you see, because of all the green under it, if I put a little here, it's mixing. It's so soft that it is actually mixing with the green under it. And I want to leave this red that you see peeking through. I want there to be a little bit of a neutral bright green, if that makes sense. Like these colors. Yes. Actually, this should be the brighter color, and this should be there, with the yellowish orange going that way. I kind of lost my darks there, so I'm going to bring them back. I don't think I used my Blue Earth pastels on this yet. I think I used... I think this is the Blick pastel, and it has some kind of coating on it where I can't get it. Okay, well, that's something to note about the Blick brand artist grade pastels, is that they're... If you watched my other Man Ray video, you know I love the scumbling technique. I've kind of filled the tooth of the paper at this point. But this ridge was very green. You can see it in the reference photo above. I will also be including a link to the reference photo. Now, I need a darker color. What dark is this one? This was the dark that I used. No, maybe it's not. This is the bluish one. This is the only bad thing about walking away from your paintings for a while, is maybe you might forget what colors you use. And I don't know what happened to this pastel, but man, I gotta like really work it. And this is just newsprint. I gotta like work it into something to make it function. Alright, let's go to I found the green that I did use. It is a bluey green. There, that was it. So there's a piece here that's surrounded by a lighter bit. And I just want to capture that. I like areas of contrast. And then there's a very green, very like sap, earthy green. If you didn't watch the other video, just so you are aware, the Blue Earth pastels are very fragile. They're very soft. Well, maybe a little darker than this. No, I can get away with that. There's a bit of an, yeah, there's an earthy green here. But I don't want to get rid of that shadow. So there's a mix of lights and darks right here in this field. So instead of blending everything, I'm going to just scumble things in to get that contrast and that like natural blending that pastels do. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't want to cover this red, but there is that green that is just here. And then there's that, sorry, I'm propping my reference photo up. And it's giving me a hard time. This bluey green I did have in there. Where did that bluey green go? Is this my bluey green? No. I think this is too blue. Nope, I think that was it. And then it goes into that mutedness. So surprisingly in this, you can see, and I know the reference photo's up, but you can see there's like a light blue kind of just sneaking by here a little. Which I know things get cooler as they recede and less intense. But that's very noticeable to me. Then there's this, I know I put some blue green in here already, but there is a cool green mixed in this dark front. And I don't want to mix it too much. I want it to be like organic. This likely is down here, just a little. Just mark making, letting the pastels make the marks that they want to make instead of forcing them to make marks. So that's kind of how I work intuitively. At least that's what I did with the manta ray. I mean, I think about it. I see something and I say, hey, that would look good there. And I try things on. And if it doesn't look good there, then I go over it. It's really whatever. It's the benefit of working on sanded paper is that you can go over things more than once. See, this Jackson's pastel is so soft that it's blending things together, and I'm not looking to do that. Maybe a yellow ochre. I don't know if a yellow ochre at this point would be too dramatic, or if it would help the painting. I think it's helping the painting, actually. I really like this golden tone in there. It's breaking up a lot of the green. When you're working with a lot of greens, it can be hard to see value. Now, I know I need a lighter bit of that, because so we have this piece. We actually have a piece of land here that's a hill and a piece of land here. But I kind of lost that, and I can try to bring it back with the darks, but I think me trying to copy the reference photo is going to harm my painting. So I'm going to let that go, and I'm just going to go with what I think I want in the painting at this point. And I know I want to keep up here dark, and I want to keep some of those reds showing through. I did put them away because I did not think I would be using them again. So I'm trying to leave some of them kind of open. There is a bit of yellow up here. So when you're unsure of your values, if you take a picture of your photo and you do a value study of it, you put it in black and white, you'll see if things are matching up correctly. And that's usually how you can tell. I love this just tap, tap, tap scumble technique. Like, I'm not used to these soft pastels, so this is a beautiful thing for me, at least, to experience and feel. Alright, well, that's enough of the landscape, because I feel like if I keep working it, it's just gonna get... There's nothing more that could be added to this landscape that would enhance it. So I'm going to go across with this pink and kind of smooth out the shape of the land a little bit, because that was the only thing that was really bothering me, was the shape of the land. And my hand is dirty, of course, with dark pigment. So I'm just gonna go in, and right here is so bright I have to use white. And I'm gonna take this pink and drag it out just a bit more, because I want to. I want to add that to my sky. I know there's a muted violet in here somewhere. Let me put my if you watched my other video, you know I really like to put my Blue Earth pastels away back where I found them, so I can find them easily again. And I think I scrubbed the number of this off, but I found its spot. That's the beautiful thing about Blue Earth pastels, is that you can see where everything goes by literally just looking at the values in the colors. If you keep it in the right spot, it doesn't matter if you break them. I don't have to break these pastels because they are the perfect size. The only negative I have about them is that they like to crumble. So be very gentle when you take them out. but they are, I was afraid that this half stick wasn't gonna, it's not a half stick, it's a full stick that looks like a half stick that has the pigment and the strength of a big stick. It's amazing. This video is not sponsored. I am not affiliated with Dakota Pastels other than being a really great customer. Hopefully one day I may be affiliated with them if my channel grows. So share with your friends. That's what I wanted. I wanted to smooth out that purple just a teeny bit, and I actually like don't even want to use these pastels because they're a little too hard. Because I still want to be able to see them. I just didn't want them to be as intense as they were. So this landscape really is on the verge of overworking. Get some linear strokes in there. I wanted to do something here. Where's that? And that's it. That's all I'm going to do is gently mix them together organically. Maybe this is too pink. I have this piece of orange. I think it's that orange though. And put that together. Okay. Okay. Fuchsia. So that's we test. We add, we don't like, we take away. This is how I work. So I don't know how much this was a tutorial because I don't really remember how much, I was really into this painting. I don't remember how much instruction I actually gave you. And guys, there'll be speed paints of these as well as real-time tutorials. So if you don't feel like sitting here for 2 hours, unless you're gonna, unless like, you know, it's calming for you to listen to the sound and to watch people paint, you know, there's a speed paint available for you. It might take me an extra day to get it up, but I'm sure by the time you see this, it will be up. So this fuchsia is actually doing a really good job of filling in the spots in between that I was having a hard time filling in. See, I used too hard of a pastel in the sky, so I lost my violets. Remember, you try to blend with clean fingers. If you're gonna blend like me. I kind of wanted this violet up there a little. Where is that violet? See, this violet is a hard pastel. That is the problem too. Is that, see, you know, I put light and a dark. So I still want there to be that violet, but I think I want it just a, you see how little I'm putting? And I'm just like kind of swooshing it around. Just very little. So I don't know how much this was a good like tutorial video as much as it was a like a look into my natural process of art making. Like I said in the manta ray video. If you watch that, if not, then don't worry about the manta ray video. I didn't plan these paintings before I have never done these paintings before. If I'm going to do like a full class, like I would on my website, I would do the paintings in advance and tweak them to be exactly what I want to teach you, specific techniques and stuff. This is just more for like beginners to intermediate artists to like are having an art block and want an idea, or people who just like to watch people paint. Well, this is definitely it because it has blue on it. That's better. And I just scumbled that in a little. I really don't want to blend the scumble. I want there to be this kind of raw look like the landscape. I want the sky to kind of follow that rawness that's going on. No, that doesn't belong there. So it's October 11th. I have to get started on my pet. I do pet portraits. So you're going to be seeing a lot of speed paints of pet portraits, guys. Because I'm just going to record them. And if you want full-length tutorials on how to do acrylic paint pet portraits, you leave a comment or however you want it. You can email me and say, hey, I really want a pet portrait. Full-time tutorial. I want to know how to do that. We can do that. I might make some of them full-time for fun. I'm really going hard on these Jacksons ones in this set. The Jacksons are like, they feel like the Blue Earth. Only, ooh, that one really broke hard. Only they feel like creamier. I don't know, creamier is the right word. They feel different. Like if I did that with the Blue Earth, I can tell you right now that would be way more vibrant. Even though in the camera it looks pretty vibrant, in person it's not something to lose it about. So I'm happy with that now that that value is correct. This is my concern, like 90% of the time. Are my values right? Now I'm going to go in with that pink that I love, this Jackson's pink. I don't know what light pink it's called. 287. I like this light pink. It is in my Blue Earth pastel set. To blend at this point, because I want to keep this an impressionistic piece, which if you have ever listened to any tutorial that I have made, you know I have a hard time just leaving things alone. So I want to call this done, but something's feeling like like it's not. Maybe just one more piece of violet there. My love just got home. My boyfriend. His name is Eric. He is an art installer and curator. He works in museums and he's super cool. Sorry, I need to brag about my man for a minute. So hear him come in the house. Alright, you know what? Actually, I think this is done. I think if I continue to work this, I am going to overwork it. And I'm going to ruin the rawness that I have captured in this landscape. And, you know, when I first went about this landscape, I never know how they're going to come out when I first do them. Well, if it's a serious painting, like, and when I say serious, I mean big for me, like, you know, 24 by 18 or bigger, I plan with smaller pieces before I go about it. But this one, I want to leave raw. I want to watch as I want to go in more and move stuff I have to step away. Because yesterday when I stepped away from it, I was like, oh wow, that's like so much closer to being done than I thought it was. I want some of this pink to like trail off very lightly. I think maybe that's what... So you can see how the sky became a little purple as well. Okay. You know what? No, that's done. I'm happy. I am pleased with this piece, which is a very rare thing for me to say, but I'm learning, and I've been painting and drawing for, 8, 9 years now, and there are a lot of times, and I'm sure artists can attest to this, that I hate my work. And I've started just in my 8th, 9th year, I forget if it's the 8th or the 9th year, of being an artist, that perfection is overrated. And what makes something yours is the organic marks that you make. I made this. That's what makes this a special thing, is that somebody made it. And yes, realism, like photorealism, amazing. Absolutely amazing. That skill, out of control. I don't have the patience for it. And when I try to do it, I get really, really bored really, really fast. So, I'm going to try to do it. That's why I wanted to start oil painting. And I'm ranting, whatever. The painting is finished. I don't know if this was more of a tutorial or more of a studio time insight, because I got very into it. I don't know how much instruction I actually gave you, but we will be doing more. We will probably be focusing on soft pastels for quite a while. You're going to see me do some watercolors. You're going to see me do some acrylic pet portraits. You're going to see me try to get back into portraiture after 2 years away from portraiture. You're going to see my process. I'm going to show you everything. So if you're a beginner artist, keep going. If you feel like everything is impossible, keep going. If you're an artist that's just watching this because you want to get into soft pastels, do it. I love them. As long as you don't mind getting dirty, I'm absolutely in love. So I think that's really it for this tutorial. Well, I did turn off the camera and forget some crazy stuff. So when you see me say bye in a minute, this is after that. Because I was cleaning up and I remembered 2 things that were actually relevant. One being that I wanted to use the Diane Townsend Iridescence, one in 507 Deep, which is purple, and 501D, which is deep blue. So these are just, I wonder if you can see that they're actually really sparkly. And I thought they would add something cool to the sky. So I'm just going to lightly dot them in. They're not that strong, but they do give a nice mica pearliness to the scene. And I love pearliness. I love glitter. I'm a girl. Not that men can't love glitter, but I know plenty of men that love glitter. And that's it. I just wanted to do a few areas. I wanted to do this, they're a medium firm pastel. I wanted to do the lake as well, because I thought it would be nice if it was gleaming. And, okay, yeah, when I lean it, I see a blue glitter, and when I lean Yeah, when I lean it, I see a purple glitter. So the application is kind of clear, but when you tilt it in the light, it gives you a purple or a blue glitter. So I kind of thought of it as a different kind of iridescence, but it's just the glitter color that's in it. So these look dark, right? I thought this color was going to come off on my paper. It doesn't. It comes like this. Can you see? Look how dirty my hands are. That was number one. So I just wanted to add a little iridescence to give it a little something something. Now I gotta clean my hand because what happened here was there was a little dirt. And I want that area to stay kind of clean. And it kind of looks like there's a little bit of a gleam. And then let me see my reference photo. There's a little bit of gleam in that body of water. So that's it for this painting. I just add that little extra. I promise we're done with it now. If you like my channel, please like this video, leave a comment, let me know what you thought. Subscribe to my channel. You can click that little bell, and every time there's a new video release, you'll get alerted. Sorry I'm saying a lot. I just I just recorded for like 4 or 5 hours. We're going to be doing a soft pastel series, and I keep saying this because I don't expect every single person to watch every single one of my videos, where we will be going over about 14 different brands of artist grade soft pastels, 3 to 4 brands of medium soft pastels, and 4 to 5 brands of soft hard pastels, all in the chalk pastel category. I don't call them chalk pastels because there's no chalk. They're not chalk, they're pigment in a stick. So I don't call them chalk pastels. I call them soft pastels, even though they come in different grades, like charcoal comes in hard, medium, and soft. So we will be doing that. I have one more package I'm waiting on before I start that series. So I'm really excited to give you the series. I did a lot of research to give you all the information that you could possibly need when considering what brand of soft pastel to invest in, how to find the right one for you, where they're made, how many colors are in their line. Like, everything you can think of is going to be covered in this soft pastel informational intensive workshop. Not so much how to use them, but the papers, the brands, everything else will be covered. So if you're confused and you're like, what's Unison? What's Schminke? What's Art Spectrum? Oh my God, what's Diane Townsend? I don't understand. Terry Ludwig, they're so expensive. What do I do? This is the series for you. So I hope you enjoyed this landscape studio time / possible tutorial. And I will see you soon. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. See you soon.